And that was very appropriate for the subject we're about to speak about. Blessings and blessings, everybody. It's good to be seen and to see you and to feel you. We're about to go into a subject that triggers some people, and yay, opportunity. Let's get it. Cultural appropriation. Such a good subject. Versus appreciation. I just posted a video of a woman explaining hip hop. And some people were triggered by this because I said in the thing, this is funny and this is cultural appropriation. Some people said, why? Why is it cultural appropriation? Preston, why? Do you guys just claim a dance? Because she said this is hip hop. And it wasn't. She was doing the physical exertions of what may look like hip hop, but hip hop is so much more than that. And I want to start by defining cultural appropriation, just so we're all clear on what it is. It is the unacknowledged or inappropriate adoption of customs, practices, ideas, etc. of one people or society by members of another, and typically more dominant people or society. So, said differently, it is whatever group is the overwhelming majority, which happens to be white presenting at this point in the United States and really many other places, but taking without credit someone else's pieces of. So this is like, what's the word? Borrowing for trend sake. So I'm gonna be trendy. Oh my God, I'm gonna wear like my Native American headdress for Halloween or for Burning Man. I'm gonna wear a headdress for Halloween or Burning Man because this is funny. What is sacred to the Native Americans becomes a trend or cute for somebody else. And so I want to give you guys some examples of what I've seen as cultural appropriation. There are many. One is in the fashion industry, where they will go and see a Brazilian tribe that wears their clay and things on their face in a particular way and dresses in a particular way, and take pictures of them, basically capture their culture, don't tell anybody, go then to New York Fashion Week and present our new collection. We call it Untamed or whatever the case may be, and not give credit to the people in the jungle that they stole it from, not give them any money because these people are about to make millions off of the backs of these people in the jungle, not add to or help conserve the jungle that they absolutely live in, but just pretend like they didn't steal that for trend sake. This is stealing. That's stealing. It's cultural appropriation, and it's not okay. So I know that there's a lot of people triggered because they're being called forward and called out, right? There's a lot of people who happen to be white presenting going, oh, I called someone a nigger and everybody put it on the internet. No, there shouldn't be cancel culture. I should be able to call people a nigger and keep my job and do everything else. I should be able to call the police on a black man because he asked me to keep my fucking dog on a leash. Right? Because maybe the police will kill him. Do you see how unacceptable that is? Elvis Presley. What do you guys call Elvis? What do they call him? What's the term they have for Elvis Presley? And I'll wait and read some of the comments. And whatever that is, I want you to tie it to, and you tell me how Elvis, Justin Timberlake, Justin Bieber, who's admitted to this maybe only 3 weeks ago, Eminem, and many others are all connected. A man who never wrote a song. They call Elvis the king of rock and roll. Well, I wanted to ask you guys, do you think there was somebody else potentially doing the same thing that Elvis was doing? Because there was. Anybody know the man's name that Elvis stole from? Who was really the king of rock and roll? I believe his name was Buddy Holly. Many songs and ways, right? So people looked at Elvis and they went, oh my God, he's moving his hips like this. Oh my God, he sings with a certain swagger. Oh, Chuck Berry, there we go. Chuck Berry. He sings with a certain swagger. That guy, Elvis, is the king. Where did he come up with these moves? That is cultural appropriation. So who you're calling the king is actually somebody who was a good stealer, just like Christopher Columbus, just like a lot of other people that you guys want to keep their statues up. You think it's great. They put the statues up as a form of resistance to say, hey, we know we didn't win that war, but let's put up these generals who hated black people and who hated Native Americans, and let's keep these things up. Yes, dreadlocks. All of the above. Texas, yesterday, reinstated a law that says that they can suspend and send black kids home for having dreadlocks that come to their shoulder. You guys remember 2 years ago when the little boy was wrestling and beating everybody? The little black boy who was beating everybody, and the ref stopped him and cut his hair off? Either you quit and you don't win, or we cut your hair off. This is the kind of stuff that many people want to deny. Right? It's just, this racism against white people. Oh, I can't do this now. I can't do that. Guess what? There was a time when big hoop earrings, type yes or just like, let's admit this. Do you wear hoop earrings? Do you wear big hoop earrings? Like the bamboo pair that LL Cool J talked about. There was a time when that was considered ghetto. And then, the white fashion industry got a hold of it and said, well, we'll take that, without acknowledging where it came from, without helping the community that it came from. We'll just take it. Britney Spears. People said, oh my God, she dances so well. Oh my God, she's so X, Y, and Z. Justin Bieber, oh, he's got so much swag. He's this, that, and the other. Eminem, Justin Timberlake. Usher was doing the same thing. But if you take it and put it in a white body, now we can sell it better. And what I want to challenge us to, it's not about white people not doing that, because of course, but are you willing to appreciate, like actually acknowledge and support the communities from which it comes from? Or you just want to steal and take? When Kim Kardashian wore the cornrow braids that were a way that the slaves would map out how to escape. When Kim Kardashian wore her cornrows, they said Kim Kardashian on E! News comes up with she brings back a new hairstyle, the Bo Derek braids. Bo Derek being a white woman who stole it from black people. Like, there's so much to be with here. If I'm going to take aspects for a trend of your culture and then put stick figure white women in my fashion show, the least I could do is put the type of woman. So if I remember a few years ago, everybody was wearing the I think they call them hijabs, the things where like you wrap a thing around you and you put it over your head. I did this. Well, they were putting that throughout fashion everywhere, but not actually acknowledging where it came from. Without acknowledging it. And so instead of using a model that came from the Middle East, which is where they were stealing this from, instead of saying, you know what, even 4% of the proceeds of us making so much money. Do you guys know that Target right now takes African patterns and sells them on their pillows? Do they help the people of Africa? Do they stole this from the tribes that they took it from? Or do they just replicate and steal? This is vulture culture. This is stealing without acknowledgement. So if you want to hear what I'm saying, under what I'm saying, until one can acknowledge where it comes from. When this woman in that video said, "Oh, this is hip hop." No, it's not. No, it's not. If I forget the culture, but they clog. They do the thing where they have clogs, right? Whatever that is. If I did the physical act of that and said, this is that thing, without explaining why they do that, where it comes from, the pain, the suffering, I'm stealing from those people. So for those of you saying, where does this end? I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's uncomfortable. I know you want this all to end. You want this to be over. You don't want to talk about it. You want to go back to normal. We can't go back to normal. It doesn't work like that. We can't go back to sleep. It's not it. My truth? There's one people. Human race. And yet, the variety of the human race is so beautiful, so interesting, so deep. Why not help each other? Why not, if we know we're going to benefit from this thing, why not just take a little extra time to educate oneself? If I'm going to go to Burning Man and put on a headdress, why don't I just actually educate myself on what that means? Each one of those feathers, what does it mean for those people? Instead of me taking something that's so sacred so I can look good in my Instagram pictures, for me to actually breathe into that and say, where does this come from? And is it appropriate for me? Am I willing to be a little uncomfortable and not get that Halloween costume? Because it's also a form of racism. It's unconscious. But I want you to ask yourself this. If a part of your culture was to wear a headband, I'm just gonna make this up, and you knew what it took to get that headband, blood, sweat, tears, 7 days dancing nonstop without food or water, you name it, I'm just making stuff up. And somebody was like, oh, this will look cute in my Instagram picture. How would that feel for you? I just don't personally think it would be like, oh, that's awesome. And yet, because some people who happen to be white presenting are in the majority for now, it's like looking at the victim, right? Because there's being a victim and holding victim consciousness. I am a stand for all of this, and I don't hold victim consciousness. I live my life with a smile on my heart. Yes, I'm passionate. Yes, I am. But I don't hold victim consciousness. However, I am willing to call a spade and allow some of you who happen to be miseducated put negative comments on my stuff. That's okay. You can put your negative comments, and maybe one day you'll educate yourself. But what I will do is give a voice to the voiceless. What I will do is say what's on my heart while I have a platform and eyes to see and ears to hear and a mouth to speak. Because it's so much deeper. You're gonna wear that headdress, but you don't know that Native Americans are committing suicide more than anybody else. Why? How'd they get there? How'd they get there? Everybody can bootstrap themselves up in America. Can they? It's easy to say from your nepotism. That's easy to say as the privileged group. You walk into a store, nobody cares about you. You're perfect. You could be the president, you could be the owner of the store. I walk into a store, they think I'm gonna steal something. I walk into a job interview. Familiarity biases. Look it up. We have familiarity biases, AKA, when given the opportunity to hire someone, to bring someone into our space, to help the circulation on the planet as far as money and jobs and opportunities go, we will always lean towards what is most familiar. So what are we doing here? I'm allowing you to see the familiarity in my eyes, past my skin. Because what happens is they go, okay, 2 equal candidates, one's black, one's white. One's Mexican, one's white. One's Middle Eastern, one's white. I will choose the white one, because I'm white. And everything that has ever been come into my space has told me that white is right. Remember Clint Eastwood? Remember 1492 when Columbus sailed the ocean blue? Remember the fake white Jesus? Remember Santa Claus? Remember all of these things? Remember how every ad I ever see, the white guy is always in the middle and the token black and the token Asian are over there? It's teaching and training my brain to believe that white men, people are the heroes. Sex trafficking is a problem. And yet, when most people see me, they see a threat. But who's flying to Brazil to fuck those little kids? Who's flying to Mexico to get those kids? Who's doing that? Who keeps the porn industry pumping? Who's running in a part of the pedophilia? Is it black people in the ghetto? Is it black people like me who don't live in the ghetto? And there's lots of us. No. But when you see a white man, you don't see pedophilia. You don't see sex trafficking. But that's who's doing the most of it. What, like, let's get under it. Ooh, yes, US number 1 on the planet for sex trafficking. Who's doing it? And yet, when you see them, you don't see the same thing you see in me. They don't get off of elevators when white men get on there. They don't clench their purses when white men get on the elevator or go in the store. I know you guys are woke and you got it. I'm speaking to the ones that don't. I'm reminding you of how deep this stuff goes. It's all so connected. Blessings and blessings. I love you guys. Peace out. Thank you so much. If this resonated, share it out. Share it on my page. All right, love you guys.